respectfully request the Sangha agree virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thịnh, vì thứ pháp phối cấp nhớ thiết chúng sanh, thịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoáng tư ly khu đạc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đan Tô Su Chế Đô Ye Ở La Hơ Đi San Miao San Pu Tô Xie. Nam mô Tát Đắc Tha Tô Ya Đa Ya A La Ha Đề Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Thoa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. And now that I'm able to see and hear, I will maintain, receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai qian wan jie nan zao yu wo jin jie wen de xiao qi Yuan Jie Ru Lai Zhe Shi. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Qing Liang, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good no advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大士、师父上人、各位出家人、各位上智士，弥陀佛。 Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư Thường Tiến Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị trí thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 27th of 2024. We are here, you go forth to continue discussing the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra. Thank you for joining us. We're on slide 1233, door number 2, the stores and the teachings containing in it. All right, he's talking about a good survey of Indian Buddhism from what we receive from the Indians through China, basically from 2 schools, the Dharma Mark schools and Dharma Nature school. Okay, and this is what the Chinese Dharma masters had to learn when we went to India to study Mahayana, and then it brought back all those teachings, and then later the Chinese Bodhisattva came along and did more interesting things. So it's a good survey of the Indian philosophy of Mahayana. So it's a good thing to learn, so that you are not so full of yourself, thinking you know everything about Buddhism. All right. He's also talking about how the context is that a lot of Buddha's teachings is expedience. Primarily, Mahayana is one vehicle, meaning that only one vehicle designed to teach all of us to become Buddhas. There's only one purpose. Okay, so all the teachings are designed to help all of you become Buddhas. However, because it takes a while, and because people are impatient, and then because people are limited, and therefore the Buddha devised expedience. He taught not just one vehicle, but he taught three vehicles. What are the three vehicles? It's important for you to remember this. This is covered by all the Buddhist teachings. It doesn't matter where you learn from, which tradition it is about three major vehicles. Number one is sound hearer vehicles, where you learn the Buddhist principles in order to put an end to the ego. It is so critical because that's the first real measure of wisdom. Until you put an end to the ego, you're an idiot. No, wait, let me take it back. Doesn't sound very nice. Okay, so the sole purpose of Hinayana, or the sound hearer system, is to figure out a way for you to put an end to your ego, which is the source of all your sufferings. Okay, and if you look at the Hinayana teachings, especially the sound hearer teachings, it's a lot of translation into various languages. Originally, it was transcribed in Pali, and so they have many methodologies, such as breath counting. If you meditate and you count your breath, you can put an end to the ego. You can do mindfulness meditation and put an end to the ego. You can do metta contemplation, where you contemplate kindness. You sit there and you send these thoughts of kindness and compassion to your worst enemies, your wives, your husbands, and so forth. Okay? And you do that, you also can certify to the end of the ego. And why is it important? Because it's for real folks. It's not talk. The intellectuals, they talk about it. They say, okay, I'm superior, I'm better, I'm smarter than you because I have a certificate to prove it. Whereas in Buddhism, what is a certificate for you to have put an end to the ego? You feel better about yourself. You feel so good about yourself. And you don't need anything. You don't need your husband. You don't need money. You don't need anyone at all. You need nothing whatsoever. So that's the first time that the Buddha taught the human realm that was never achieved before. And that's why it's for real. That's why in Buddhism, we don't talk, we deliver. Whatever Buddha talked about, his disciples were the living proofs of his teachings. And so in Buddhism, therein lies the experience right there, where you, the first real measure of success in Buddhism is to kill the ego. Okay? And then you're considered to have wisdom. Until then, you're undependable. No, yeah, I know. Most of you, we talked about it today at lunch. Most of you are kind of crazy, bipolar and all, me included. But that's no excuse. That's temporary. However, if you're able to practice this one vehicle, the sound hearer vehicle, where these disciples of the Buddha listen to the Buddha's sermon and they certify to put an end to the ego. That's how powerful the Buddha Dharma really is. Buddha, when he first preached to one of his 5 disciples, Ashnata Kondinya, the first one to become enlightened, he listened to the concept of gas dust, and he certified to first stage arhatship after practicing for years on end. They worked so hard. They starved themselves. They isolated, ran away from the families and the loved ones, hoping to find liberation, find wisdom, so that they can really go back and save the one they really care for. And Buddha, in one sermon, one preaching, helped Ashnata Kondinya certify to first stage arhatship. And the guy was so happy. The first time in his life, after all the hard work, all the sacrifices he made, he said, wow, this is the beginning of something wonderful. And he ain't seen nothing yet. He first certified the first stage arhatship, which in Hinayana is significant, but in Mahayana it is like, excuse me, you call that achievement? We don't. Okay? So anyway, the first vehicle is a vehicle, the sound hearer, where from there on, his disciples certified quickly to 4th stage arhatship within a few more sermons. So the Buddha was the expert in certain teaching. That was not mentioned in a Pali text, let me tell you. But actually the Buddha, when he preached the Buddhism to his disciples, okay, unlike us nowadays when we have to meditate week after week after week, okay, and suffer so much, these people listened, they became enlightened. You know why? Because before the Buddha came along, they worked so hard themselves. There's no substitute for hard work, folks. Don't let anyone tell you it's easy. Don't buy into it. It takes a hard work. Why is that? Because unlike the other religions, okay, including in Buddhism, many Buddhist teachers, it's a lot of hard work for you to be able to loosen the grip of your ego on you. There are lots of tricks we need to do with you. Don't think it's easy. I see Chinese girls today, I look at them and say, it's hopeless for you. You'll never get married. Don't ever expect to get married and be happy. And these poor, stupid Chinese girls agreed. Because why? Because the ego is so strong, and only Master can recognize it in them. They look normal, okay? Doesn't matter how many dating applications are loaded on their cell phones. It's hopeless, okay? The only hope for these Chinese girls is for them to become enlightened, then they become less demanding. then they accept any man. Who says Hinayana is impractical? It's very, very practical. Okay? So anyway, so you put an end on the ego, and there's good things about it because you are so happy that you can accept others' unhappiness. How's that? For joy to the world. How can you bring joy to the world if you're so unhappy yourself? How can you make anyone else happy if you're so unhappy inside? And the secret to happiness inside is kill the source of unhappiness. Meaning, your daughter. Okay, never mind. Okay. Yes, Way Mountain.
Thank you, Master. I want to share the happy news or my story. 3 weeks ago, my dad had a dream about my mom.
That's vision of mom. Give us some background information. Dad alive, mom dead, or something like that? Or dad, mom alive?
My daddy had a dream about my mother. Yeah, last year I requested a plug for her, and
How long? How dead was she? How long ago?
8 years ago. She
8 years
passed
ago.
away 8 years ago. But yeah,
oh,
I kind of
doesn't sound too good. You're like in your 30s.
no.
And 8 years ago, that's a long time
8 years
ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
she
long
had to
time,
have
yeah.
an untimely death.
Yes, all of a sudden she died at that time. So
Is it
but
stomach cancer?
No, she doesn't have any cancer. Just all of a sudden she passed
One day
away.
she died.
Yeah, one day she died. Yeah, just I think it's a winter season. So she passed away about the stroke something. Yeah, but we don't know about it exactly. But yeah, she passed away, and
No cancer, nothing. Just
nothing.
died
Yeah.
young.
Yeah, one day.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a lucky woman.
No, but when she was young, 73 years old.
Yeah, I mean, what a way to go when you're at the prime of your time, your life, and you die so that you don't know suffering at all.
Yeah, but the other family is very shocked, and we very sad because of that. Yeah.
Of course you are.
And, yeah, but she already, before I mentioned about she already got the 49 days in Korean temple, everything did. So, yeah. Anyway, last year I requested a plug for her, and I felt very comfortable, but still she appeared on my dream, but I think she didn't make the Pure Land or something like that. So I always pray for her and a little bit worry.
Yeah, people seem to think that going to Pure Land is so easy. It isn't. It's very hard. They're very selective.
3 weeks ago, my dad called me. Yeah, he had a dream about my mother. She appeared in his dream. He saw my mother, she was in the temple in Buddha Hall. She wear the very nice clothing like a silk.
Silk?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then she reciting Buddha's name. And yeah, also her looks like very young, like when he's dating with her, like the very young lady.
Wow.
She looks like, and then then he told me she's right now practice Buddhism a lot. Maybe he told me. So I'm kind of
okay.
So I think she's making Pure Land because she looks very young. She's practiced the reciting Buddha's name, and also my daddy feel very comfortable. He's happy. That's why he want to share his dream story about her. Yeah.
Okay. So when did you take care of her? 2-3 years ago? She died 8 years ago, yeah?
8 years ago, but I request Prologue 2023.
23?
Yeah,
Oh,
May or I forgot. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I finally had a dream about, my mother is a good dream. Yeah, just I want to share. Our family is very happy to hear about that.
Yeah, me too. Thank you for sharing with us.
Okay.
Well, why would your dad dream of the mom in the Buddha hall? Is Korean temple or?
Well, I didn't ask about the detail, but he saw her in the Buddha hall, the temple at the temple.
Which temple?
I don't know. I didn't ask. He just mentioned about
This is in Korea. The dad is still in Korea.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell Korean temples inside is very nice. All the ceiling works and the statues, and especially the Buddha statues have mustaches.
But one thing is, my daddy told me usually he had a dream about the people, but my mom also mommy didn't say something, but he clearly listened to my mother reciting the Buddha's name.
The Buddha's name, Amitabha. Is it Amitabha?
I don't know. He say the Korean, the Yeonbulba, maybe reciting mantra or reciting Buddha's name.
Oh, I see. Gotta be a Korean temple. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Master.
Okay. Thank you for sharing with us. Well, I hope she makes it. Yes, DTT.
Master, is the sound here level range? Is that where a person can recognize the ego? Thank you, Master.
Yes, sound hearer. As by the name, as the name implies, these people, they listen to the Buddha's sermons, and they certify to 4-stage arhatship. They put an end to the ego. Okay? And so that's the meaning of this, and that's why they called sound hearers, because they listen to the sermon like Ashnata Kondinya. He listened to the Buddha's sermon, and he certified the 1st-stage arhatship. And then a few more sermons later, within months, they certified the 4th-stage arhatships. Okay? So you'd say Ashnata Kondinya is sort of slow. All right. So these it's a true liberation where they actually feel very good, and that's why they're able to put down a lot of stuff that before they could not. And this is the thing about Buddhism. You're able to put down a lot of things because you're happy, not because you're unhappy. Okay, people cannot put things down because they're so unhappy. It's counterintuitive to you. Most Buddhist disciples don't get that. Most Buddhist disciples are taught to hoard, to grab for fame, grab for profit, and they don't realize that that's only inflates their egos. And unless, it's very subtle, unless it's pointed out to you, people make the same mistakes generation after generation after generation, especially monks and nuns. You know, it's not funny. I saw so many monks and nuns, so dedicated, many Hershang, you know, they have this reputation, have this vow to come back and save their disciples and save the world and so forth. And they only getting deeper and deeper instead of closer to freeing themselves. It's sad. Anyway, so that's the first vehicle where the sound hearer vehicle. Okay, and second vehicle is the Pratyeka Buddha vehicle, where these people actually were disciples of Buddhas before and in a prior lives, and so they would not need to have the Buddha anymore. The sound hearers need to hear from the Buddha's mouth in order to open the wisdom. The conditioned enlightened ones, they have learned the Buddhism before in a prior lives, many lives before, and so they can get away from it all. When they go to the mountain, they go to the valleys, and then they would be by themselves, truly by themselves. And then they observe the changing seasons, how seasons change year after year after year, and they awaken to the 12 conditioned links. And this is how they became enlightened. So that's why they are a slightly higher level of wisdom, where they actually a little bit more powerful than fourth-stage arhats, but it turned out that these are the worst ones, because they got there by being by themselves, and therefore they're totally useless. They can't do anything for anyone. At least the sound hearers, they feel obligated to come back to you to pay you back for your support. Okay? Because you remember, an arhat, remember that before he became an arhat, he received the food offering from you, you know. He used to roll that cloth thing there for you to put some money there, and you roll back. Okay? That's so he still remembers that somehow he got there thanks to the support from his disciples. So he feels obligated to try to at least save those people. Whereas the enlightened to conditioned ones, they don't need anyone. They just sat there and patiently watched and recollected the Buddhist teachings. That's how they were able to let go of the ego. Okay, and so the enlightened to conditions ones are actually the worst kinds. Second vehicle is a vehicle of troublemakers. They're basically useless. So the Buddha is not me. It's the Buddha who chided them and said, you are sterile seeds. You're totally useless. Buddhism is not about for you alone. Buddhism is to help all others. And here you are, only being satisfied with yourself alone. And so Buddha is very harsh in his scolding of the enlightened conditions. All right? And this is why in our Mahayana approach, we don't teach you about enlightenment to conditions at all, because we feel there's a dead end. Okay, actually, we don't teach you much about the first two vehicles, the Arhat vehicle, the sound hearer vehicle, and the Pratyeka Buddhahood vehicle, because we feel that they're too slow. Okay, what we teach you is the third vehicle, the vehicle of the Bodhisattvas. Okay, so those are the three major vehicles that the Buddhist world knows about. Okay, you study Buddhism at all, will be one of the three. Hinayana, for example, is basically sound hearer vehicle. It's very rare for them to find enlightenment to condition nowadays. Okay, and in Buddhism, we don't beat around the bush. You can call yourself whatever, Vietnam Buddhism, Chinese Buddhism, whatever. But the bottom line is that how far can you go? What is your level of wisdom? What is your level of liberation? That's all that matters. Okay, so call yourself Hinayana, Mahayana, doesn't matter at all. Plenty of people wear these clothes saying they're Mahayana, but actually they're low-level Hinayana. It's because they don't understand the Dharma behind it. Okay, so for us in Buddhism, bottom line is about you. The monks, it's too late for them now. You look at XF right there, it's too late. And she's committed already. Look at her. There's nothing you can do. It's too late for her. Okay? But what we left is we put our hopes on you. Okay? Bottom line is next generation. That's my attitude. Okay? Yes, my teacher, my Chinese teacher is a fantastic teacher. He's an accomplished teacher. He has spiritual penetrations galore. You want something fixed? Call him. Who do you call? Master Shenhua. You need any help? You call him. To the point where it's ridiculous. Anything that goes wrong, Shifu saved me, and he'll save them. Okay? And after he died, he would manifest himself sitting there in the open sky when they drive by and say, oh, that's Shifu right there. So they totally depend on his spiritual penetrations. Okay? And it's nice. That's why he had a lot of followers. And that's why people like me become lazy. He say, hey, all we have to do is say, we are disciples of Master Shenhua. Come support us. We're the real deal. And no one else is. You know, that's what he did. He did is that he says, and it's a sad thing to me because he has so many spiritual penetrations. And he showed only a handful of people how to do spiritual penetrations. But he never showed them the whole deal. So their spiritual penetration is so limited. They think they have it, but theirs is so insignificant compared to his. He's scary, you know. If we talked about knowledge of past lives, it's no hiding from him. He wants to know, it's no way for you to hide from him. Okay? He knew exactly what you did last week. that brought you here to the temple, and you should repent. You hear? And so there is a reason why he's like that, but it's lost in my generation. Yeah. We pick up a few tricks here and there. I saw it in his disciples, especially second patriarch and those losers. Oh, see, here's my big mouth again. To me, I'm a little bit bitter because he never taught me. So you can forgive my being a little bit jealous and envious, okay? Anyway, so he's known to be spiritual penetrations, and this is why he cannot stay around very long. The Buddha says, if you show spiritual penetrations, you have to go. So he stuck around to the age of what? How old was he when he died? 73, 74? As after being sick for 10 years. Okay? And his devoted disciples, they kept on hanging on to his skirt, saying, Daddy, don't go. Save us. Suffer some more. For me, I said, just go, man. You are so sick. You are so... He couldn't even sit on his butt. You realize that? By the time he allowed me to shave my head, okay, it was not funny. They pushed him around in this wheelchair. I saw it myself. Okay? And I was told that when during that day, today we have two people living home life. When I was there that day, I remember they pushed him around this wheelchair because he could not even walk around, okay? And he didn't have the strength to even walk. So they pushed him around. And I was told that they have this special cushion, pillow, where it's kind of hollow the middle, so that because that's the only way for him to sit. Okay? And he was in such great pain that he had to have, dialysis, okay, every other day for 2-3 hours, okay? And so I think that's when he slowed down with his spiritual penetrations. But he died. He died very young, 73, 74. Huh? How old is his disciples now? All those losers? They're like in their 80s, 90s now, aren't they? Huh? How old is the fat woman? Heng Chu. She's number one. And she scares you too. She looks at you, I have more spiritual penetrations than you. Okay? So anyway, I think she's still alive, isn't she? Heng Chu is like the number one, the second most senior. I think the most senior one is somewhere in Hong Kong who has no spiritual penetration, has nothing whatsoever. Heng Chu is the one who goes around and terrifies everyone, to keep everyone in check. Anyway, so this woman here, she shows off her spiritual penetrations. For little she has, okay, and so these people, they show off a lot. But they're smart. They don't show too much to the point where they have to leave early. If you show off your spiritual penetration, again, Buddha says you have to go. You cannot stick around. Because you make people like us look like losers, real losers. The disciple said, if you really are a good monk, how come you have no spiritual penetrations? No, we're not real monks, we're fake monks. So anyway, how do we get there? Okay, so these people, the Koreans, they don't show a lot of spiritual penetration. Am I correct, Korean people? They don't show a lot of spiritual penetrations, right? For them over there, Master Shenhua side, they show off a lot. Okay? And if you dare go to the temple, they beat you up. I used to send my disciples there to kind of remind them to be more humble. And then it stopped. It's became boring because they don't feel anything anymore. Anyway, so you have three vehicles. The third vehicle that's most important for us is the Bodhisattva vehicles, where you learn how to become enlightened. Not just become enlightened, but help others become enlightened. That's the bottom line. There's no excuses in Mahayana as far as I'm concerned. If you have wisdom, how come your disciples don't have any wisdom? Okay, and so typically in Buddhism, you have one of the three vehicles that being taught. Actually, Buddha says all three vehicles are actually the one vehicle. They all are preparing for you to become a Buddha just like me. That's what the Buddha says. Okay, 1233. All the background information. Now we can begin to discuss this section here. Okay? And people afterwards only believing the three and not believing the one is the same phenomenon.
后人但信于三，不信于一，即其是也。
Yeah, it refers to the fact that it's an expedient where because Buddha spread his teaching over 50 years, and therefore some of them drop out and some of them drop in and so forth, and therefore they tend to lose track of where things are. And not only that, he used too many expedients. Sometimes he says, what I'm teaching you is the ultimate, and that turns out to be not ultimate, and so forth. So lots of things that happened. 1236, the above has been in terms of how the two schools each differ as to what they are based on, which leads to contradictions between them. But if explained as unit, they also do not contradict one another.
上曰二宗，个别所据，则互相违反；若会事者，亦不相违。
Okay, 1237. Please don't worry about what he's talking about. Master Qingliang is being himself very erudite, and it's good for us to have so much erudition among our ranks. Okay, there's such people whose job is to come to the world to impress the world with the knowledge, to see, to demonstrate the depth of the Buddhist teachings. And Master Qingliang is one of them, one such examples. Okay, and so And then he's, with his incredible wisdom, he could just pick up a book, the teachings from India, Indian Buddhism, and he would understand the principles behind it right away. Okay, and so that's why he's very qualified, to be able to discuss these two schools. Okay, just remember these, the two schools: Dharma nature and Dharma marks. Dharma nature refers to the Buddha Dharma nature. Okay. And Dharma mark school is like you look at the Dharma marks, the things out there in the world. Okay, instead of looking at the nature, you're looking at the actual characteristics. Okay, so either way, are different approaches that the Indian monks chose to have to teach their followers, and later the Chinese found it to be not good enough, too simplified, too simplistic. Okay, regardless, they approach it in terms. The Dharma Nature School, Dharma Mark, please remember the name. That's all you care about. It doesn't matter. Really, the exact details of their philosophy, and they really don't matter, because the bottom line, as far as I'm concerned, is that you only want to acquire knowledge, enough knowledge for you to become enlightened, to rise above your difficulties, okay, your own limitations. So whether you call the Dharma marks, Dharma nature, Dharma whatever, it doesn't matter, okay? But the approach here for the Indians is only clearly delineated, only either paths, okay? And so whatever they chose to do works for the followers. So if you look at the characteristics, the wording itself, the approach itself, the philosophy behind it, you see a lot of differences, and you have a lot of contradiction in a way. But if, Master Jing Liang says, but if you look at them as a whole, okay, actually they're very consistent. Okay, and so this is only because he transcended the wording. Okay, he can understand the intent of the teaching. So it says, combine both of these schools come out pretty well. Slandered, both are harmed. It's referred to. It's good for you to study either ones or both, okay? Because it's a good exercise for you, and you cannot lose when you study them. But there's no need to criticize one over the other, okay? Because it's not productive for you. It doesn't help open your wisdom, if you will. So this is where you avoid slandering, you avoid criticizing these profound systems. There's a reason why there are two schools. There used to be two schools of Mahayana in India, because that served the Indians' deeds. But when they moved Buddhism from India to China, then the Chinese have different systems, because they have different cultures, they have different requirements, have different inclinations. Therefore, they are quite different, have many more schools. All right. 1240. That is when following potentials there are three, but in terms of Dharma there is one. Of the unripe there are five, but at the root there's non-duality.
未就机则三，约法则一，心熏则五，本有无二。
Okay, here again 1241, let me stress for you that don't be like the rest of the world. They are so stuck up on understanding, on knowing. I heard that before. Oh, I understand what you're talking about. It's not knowledge. Okay? Here it says right here in 1241. Okay? The objective of the three vehicles is to serve its followers. How to help their followers attain the fruitions. That's the bottom line of all these schools. Whether you talk to a Thai monk or a Sri Lankan monk, okay, if you follow the good system that we're trained in, there will be, it's very clear in the mind what they're trying to achieve with their followers. That's why I love the Thai system, okay? And I love the Korean system because you go into the proper system, the proper places, you see that they're dedicated to making sure that your potentials are realized. They're able to recognize your potential, very much like, I remember how my Thai friend who says, my teacher recognized me and he put up with me for 10 years. He stuck by me for 10 years to help me become who I am today. Okay? So that's right here. It says here, the potentials, all the teachings are designed to help you realize your potential. There's no excuses with these people. Okay? And this is what makes such Buddhism very, very special, because they fulfill our potentials. Okay? And so the potentials are, if you only can only go as far as a sound here, become a fourth-stage arhat, okay, then you will be helped accordingly. You are only conditioned enlightened once, then you'll be helped. You will be pushed in that area. And if you even have higher levels of potential, you'll be exposed to the Bodhisattva vehicle, whether you like it or not. Yes, you too.
Master, there's two questions. The first one is from Din Tai. Master, if wisdom is not knowledge, then why do we read sutra to open our wisdom?
Because sutras are part of the development of your wisdom. In Buddhism must be developed. We must help you develop wisdom. There's a recipe for doing it. Let me spell it out for you. No one is above this. Whether you are Vietnam, you are Tibetan, you are Indian, you are Chinese, you are Japanese, Korean, doesn't matter. Okay? And the Chinese have a down pat to the system where they spell it out for you. In order for you to open your wisdom, number one, it takes 3 steps. What are the 3 steps? Steps number 1, you need to hear of wisdom, prajna wisdom. You need to plant the seeds, the prajna, seeds of wisdom. So it's so important for you to just to listen. It's not about understanding. It's not about knowledge. It's not about putting your label, I am, disciple of Master Hsuan, disciple of Dalai Lama, disciple of this big monk, so forth. It's irrelevant. Whoever your teacher is not that important. The important thing is that what are the prajna, seeds of wisdom that you have planted? Everyone needs that. That's why Buddha came to our world to do exactly that. He spoke Dharma, he spoke sermons to everyone, and excuse me, whether you believe it or not, doesn't matter. This is how powerful it is. If you simply listen to it, you don't need to understand a darn thing. And that the prajna, seeds of wisdom are being planted in you. And never mind about listening it, when you're awake. Even when you listen at night, okay, half-heartedly, it doesn't matter as how powerful the seeds are. And that's where it's called literary prajna. You need to listen. It doesn't matter you understand or not. And so it's very important for you to believe it. Okay? You just have to listen. That's all. Even if your children, they happen to listen secondhand because of you listening, okay? They listen because of you, okay? The seeds are there. That's how important it is. Without these prajna seeds, it's not much we can do. That's step number one. So this is why you understand Buddhas were constantly speaking Dharma. Shakyamuni Buddha spoke Dharma for 50 years non-stop. It's the most important thing he did. And I'm very touched that my own disciples finally understood that for us, okay, speaking Dharma to you is one of the most important things we do during the week. Okay, all of this will amount to beans unless it's to deliver the Dharma to your ears, to your eyes. That's step number one. So yeah, you're laughing. You say, oh, okay, no one watches you. You have, what is it? Beyonce has 27 million people watching her last Thursday, Christmas Day. How many watch your videos? Proudly, 157. Whereas those 157 seats will open the wisdom and save the world. Okay, that's step number one. Step number two. Also, this is a recipe in Mahayana that when we watch the Hinayana people, the Tibetan people, the Hindus, and the Catholics and so forth, the Catholics have their own form of meditation. It works very well for them. Okay? And so the step number two is you need to meditate. It's one of the most important skills that Buddhas bring to our world. They teach us how to meditate. The Buddhist meditation techniques are by far the most advanced. You look at the Catholic meditation processes, the Hindu meditation processes, the yogis and and so forth. They are rooted in the profound principles of Buddhism, Buddhist meditation. And if you follow that training, step number 2, this is the fastest way for you to put an end to your ego. There are many, many ways, but that's the most powerful way to put an end to your ego. And this is why this is not restricted only to Buddhism, by the way. The Catholics also have their own form of meditation. This is why people like, what's his name? John Paul II was enlightened. Because of those contemplative, all those meditation techniques they used as well. Okay? What's in a label doesn't matter. It's about your wisdom. What we're talking about. It's your happiness. That's all that matters. Whether you call yourself Buddhist, Catholic, whatever you want to call yourself, bottom line, can you free yourself from your ego? That's step number 2. And step number 3 is a big wisdom of the Buddhas. Yes, you too.
The second question is from Chu Hong. Master, could you please talk a little more about the Pratyeka Buddhahood?
Talk about what?
Pratyeka Buddhahood.
I'd love to, but I don't want to. Because they're losers. Let's not waste time talking about losers. We talk about losers if it helps us, motivate us to avoid their mistakes. But Pratyekahood is basically a bunch of losers. I would not waste my time studying them. Yes, one thing I like about them are those 12 condition links because I find them useful way to look at life. But I would never sit there and contemplate those 12 condition links. That would be really for losers. It's my personal opinion. So no, I'm not willing to talk about those Pratyeka Buddhahood. Why would you want to waste your time? Listen, for you to sit there and contemplate the 12 condition links, instead of doing that and taking many lifetimes to do that, I would teach you how to become enlightened so much faster for the same amount of efforts. You'll be much better off. Why would you want to learn loser Dharma doors? That beats me. Okay. But it's up to you. If you want to learn about Pratyeka Buddhahood, there's plenty of information about it. Go to Pali source, go to the Hinayana teachings and so forth. You'll find a bunch of them. But to me, it's not a good use of my time. I really look down upon them. Only one vehicle, okay? Buddha says, everything I teach you is for one vehicle, and if you really want to separate them, there are 5 kinds of potentials. The ones that are sound hearer potential. Number 2, conditionally enlightened potentials. Number 3, bodhisattvas. Number 4, unfixed. Number 5, lack of nature. Okay, but in fact, if you look at them, all 5 of them, they actually are in possession of the Buddha nature. Okay, there's just only one nature. The Buddha nature is present in all of us. It's just that you don't believe that you're worthy of it, because you've been taught that you are not worthy of it. Non-duality is a concept here. I'd like you to remember. All these big words. This is a big word you need to remember. Non-duality, meaning that what's the opposite of duality is non-duality. Duality is the fact that everything exists as pairs in this world. There's opposing forces that provide a balance to everything in life. You need 2 for balance. Okay, you need men. If there's men, then you need a woman. If you're rich, then you need poor. Okay, so it's always 2 opposing forces that provide balance to life. That's called duality. You can define everything in life as being dual. You look at one thing, okay, you look at anything at all, there's a flip side of it that's propping it up. That's called duality. Yes, Wei Mao.
Thank you, Master. May I share my experience of practicing a winning Dharma door?
Sure, why not?
Okay, thank you for Master and your Sangha team. I finished fasting for 13 days. My experience is I notice sometimes when I was sleep, and then I can feel, oh my God, there was so many thoughts in my mind, and I don't even know where these thoughts come from. This is a new experience for me.
New experience, that you have thoughts that came from somewhere, that you have no idea. That's a new experience.
Right. It's
really?
I recognize it.
Never
it's
before
not my
did you realize you have thoughts in your head, your little head, your schemy head?
My extra large head. What I mean is somehow I look at these thoughts, just say, gosh, they are not mine. Where do they come from? That's what I mean. So,
let me get this straight. You have thoughts in your head, they're not yours. So whose are they?
I don't know. So basically.
It seems like you regressed from your fast.
Okay.
You even deny your own thoughts. I'm worried now.
Okay. So,
No,
Would
no.
you like
Am I missing anything here? In the totally private life, total privacy of your own head, these thoughts arise, and you say that not yours.
that's how I felt. So
Boy, are you deluded.
it could be. So
where did they come from? They're not yours? So you're not responsible for your thoughts? That's what you're telling me.
it's almost like like some junks in the house, sort of. And I was like, where does this trash come from?
Well, I wish I had your confidence. I'm full of thoughts.
So during the fasting, I'm very grateful, you and your team protect us. And also this time there was a group of us fasting.
You were the one who fasted. I didn't have to give you any protection. You just fast. What are you talking about? How do you know you have any protection whatsoever? I mean, you're a scientist. You better be careful about the things you state. What proof do you have that we protected you at all?
Okay. So we can leave
Wait. No. I don't want people to be misled to thinking we have all these weirdos that give you protection when you need it or not. The last thing you want to do is protect you. None of our business.
There are two things very helpful. One is every evening the Dharma talk. It really kind of prop up my energy. And then the other thing is the 4 a.m. Master Z's mantra session.
Okay, if it helps, I'm glad. You have to stop talking nonsense.
Okay, I stop talking.
You have to talk with facts. You don't just say, you give me protection. Gee,
Okay.
lady, I have better things to do and protect you.
Thank you very much. And I can talk about the facts. It may be too gross, the TMA. Would you like to hear that?
No,
Okay.
we don't need to be grossed out. We're
Okay.
talking about non-duality here.
Okay, so I can stop here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your input. Okay, so duality is life. Life is duality. Okay, life as you know it is dual. Okay, you can deny it all you want, it's dual. Okay? There's no way you can be happy unless there's someone else who makes you happy. That's dual happiness. Sooner you realize it, the happier you become. Okay? And this is what ordinary people, that's how we all live. We all live in this duality world where there's always opposing forces. If there's happiness, there's unhappiness brewing. If you're unhappy, rest assured that there's happiness coming. Though the leg pain you're experiencing that makes you so unhappy, you should feel so happy because happiness is coming. The good times are coming. Don't be so short-sighted into thinking, I only want happiness, I don't want no unhappiness. There's no such a thing. That's why it's called world of duality. Okay? Do we have any problems with this? However, if you go to step number 3, remember, practical wisdom has 3 steps. First step is you start with your left foot. Never mind. You go to step number 3, that's when you transcend duality. Because if you don't transcend duality, you always depend on something else for your happiness to be complete for you. Okay? So you cannot exist by yourself. That's the state of ordinary people who cannot transcend duality. There's an interdependency. All right? But if you open your practical wisdom, then you can transcend duality. You don't need anything anymore. Unless you want to. Okay, so that's why he says, fundamentally, if you activate your true wisdom, you free from duality. So if you will, excuse me, ordinary people, they have no choice. They have dependencies. That's called duality. Duality is basically dependencies. You depend on something else. Okay? And it's vice versa. That's why there's a balance in the world. All right? You need good people, okay, whose goodness is motivated by the evil side. That's why the evil forces, the good forces are in balance. See that? So far, so good? Okay? And so in other words, the goodness is wrapped up by the evil. For example, Master YongHua is goodness. And he says when he came to the world, his opponents would come to the world and would teach the evil side of things. Yeah? It happens. Yes, YouTube.
This is from Daniel 7. Master, if we recite Manjushri Bodhisattva's name sincerely, will that help open our wisdom?
Of course it would help. Is there a trick? Is that a trick question? Is there a follow-up or something? It's like it's at the end, I open my wisdom by reciting Manjushri Bodhisattva's name. Good Lord. You could also recite Universal Worthy Bodhisattva's name, will open your wisdom too. I don't understand the point. Yes, Wei Mao.
Master, I missed some story about my mother, and I have some
Yes,
question.
your mother again, yeah.
Not mother-in-law, my mother. My mother-in-law, she is
I promise you I will take a look later if we see where your mom is, if you want to know.
Yeah, so at the time, almost the same, my had a dream. I also had a dream about my mother, but my mom appeared my dream, but she just left some clothing and she lay down in some big room. So at that time, I felt very lonely. Maybe she feel lonely, something like that. So my daddy talk about my mother's about dream, but I kind of feel, wow, why? Usually master told us they make some Pure Land, or they want to talk to the family. So, but why she appeared my dad and she's a good appearance or something very happy, but she appeared my dream kind of feel lonely.
Yeah.
So I have a question about that.
Well, sometimes you do get lonely. You know, let me tell you, in a Western bliss Pure Land, people cultivate. And sometimes it gets lonely. Sometimes you just feel like, can I just shoot the breeze, have some tea with someone, and just shoot the breeze? You know, let me go back to the dual world where actually I feel normal for a change. So yeah, just because you have wisdom doesn't mean that you can't backtrack and say, you know, hey, enough of this wisdom thing here, practicing wisdom here. Forget it. Can I just be normal to connect with my loved ones? You're supposed to be applauding you, ungrateful people. See, it falls on deaf ears. It's supposed to be a populist message. Can I be with the ones I love? See. Thank you very much. The Mahayana people make it feel like, you know, I go to the temple and I sit and, you know, I meditate for 10 hours, for 10 weeks, and I become enlightened, and the heck with my wife. What kind of person is that? This is when, you know, I always chuckle at all these Chinese people who say, you know, I become enlightened and then I don't need my wife anymore. I don't want my children anymore. So we are conning you into cultivating so that you can leave your wife? What's wisdom in there? Ask yourself. If you are smart, you should have stopped your husband from coming to the temple. Because they're going to leave you once they become enlightened. Don't you think? I would never trust these temples. Chin looks so confused. And that's precisely the point. You know, sometimes you can feel normal. We still have this body here. Like it or not, you know, we use this body here to cultivate and to transcend duality and reach non-duality. But it doesn't mean that we forsake the ones who help us get there. What kind of person are you? Huh? If you get there and say, okay, hey honey, thanks a lot. Thanks for the memories, but I don't need you anymore. Good luck to you. What kind of Buddhist is that? Huh? That's more Catholic than Buddhist. There's only one Catholic here, so it's safe. No, seriously. No one ever asked? No one ever asked me after when I opened my passion wisdom, and then what will happen to my wife, to my son, to my beloved? No? Doesn't bother you? Okay, now I won't answer you. Why have to ask myself questions and then even provide my own answers? Make life difficult for myself. I know for most of you it's like so far-fetched, so far away. Where the Master talked about prajna wisdom, a 3-step thing. Number 1, you go back. Number 2, you move forward. Number 3, you go sideways. Okay? No. And these poor people are so frightened of Master Shenhua, no one ever dare ask him. So after become enlightened, what am I supposed to do with my wife? Yes, Wei Mao.
Master, so after we become enlightened, we can still have
You
more
cannot
friends
ask me
and
the same question.
I'm just lighting up the hope for a lot of people, lonely soul like us, Master.
Lonely what?
Lonely soul.
Lonely souls? You become less lonely. After you become enlightened, you understand the source of your loneliness, so that you can choose to be lonely, so that you can connect with the people you care and you love, because they're still there. You cannot afford to ignore them, because you have a heart. I'm teaching you about hearts. How could you do this? And then after you got liberated, and you look at your wife and say, okay, honey, thanks for the memories, but I don't need you anymore. You're a loser. And I can't explain that to you. You're such a loser, you know. I love you dearly, but you really are a loser. You are dual. I'm non-dual. What kind of person are you? Seriously, what kind of Buddhist disciples are we if we are like that? Have you thought about it? Huh? So you push yourself, you work so hard to liberate yourself and free yourself from all the constraints of duality. And then what? Abandon your family? Is it what Buddhism is about? Got to be something better than that. Okay? Luckily for you, time is up. Think about it. Huh? What kind of Buddhist disciples are you if all you can think of is free yourself and then say, now I'm happy, I don't need you anymore. I'm out of here. Losers. Huh? It's something that the Buddhist disciples tiptoe around. They don't talk about it. It's so you guys keep on talking about enlightenment and liberation, and what about me? Huh? What about me? Remember, I'm the one who made sacrifices for you to come to the temple on the weekends. What? What kind of Buddhist disciples are you? You save yourself and you say, okay, I'm happy now, I don't need you anymore. Jesus Christ, you should be ashamed of yourself. Join Catholicism or something. Well, you for real? Yes, Wei Mountain.
Emitofuo, Master. You know, I think once you become and you open your wisdom and you become enlightened, actually you are, I think at that moment, you're more able to help your family. It's
You
not that
hope so, yeah.
Yeah, it's not, you're not abandoning your family. You, in my case, I think I'm actually helping even more. I have, maybe I will be in a better place to help them. Maybe not in the
That's
same
the
form
idea, yeah.
in-
But no guarantee.
Oops.
My whole point is it doesn't end there, folks. It seems to me that the Chinese, the Asian Buddhism seems to shoot for something that is so self-serving. It bothers me. You know, they only thought about, you know, I become enlightened and I'm free from suffering, and then what? I mean, what about your family? About the ones who were there for you during this journey to your liberation? What happens to them? Jesus Christ, do something for them, for God's sake. Have you no shame? Only think of yourself, that's it? All your cultivation, all your work is just for yourself. You might as well go to Pratika Buddhahood. I will renounce you if that's how you behave. I will turn you to learn vehicle number 2, become a Pratika Buddha, and isolate yourself. You useless rat. Okay? All right. I'm calm. Good night, everyone. Thanks for coming.